Welcome back to the Daily Crypto Market Update. President Trump, unfortunately, is throwing out the T word yet again. 50% tariff threatened towards the European Union and 25% threatened at Apple in hopes to it hopes to get Apple to bring their production force into the United States. We'll see how that goes. But the main thing that's crazy about this is that if you follow me on X, I actually shared this which is wild. This is the TBT stop loss hunting alert. I don't talk about it that much because it's really quiet most of the time. But when it fires, this is actually a huge signal of possible upcoming volatility. Usually we see volatility after this signal fires within 24 to 48 hours, as you can see from my post here. And I posted it in the afternoon yesterday, my time. And you can also see the alert that fired over here on Discord on the 23rd, and it was actually at 1:30 a.m. When this fired, the price of BTC was much higher. The price of BTC was all the way up here to $111,000. So this TBT stop loss hunting alert fired before a 4% pullback for Bitcoin. Yet again, another reason to join the Better Traders Club, because all of our signals, alerts, indicators, it's all there to help us to trade better and to be a little bit more aware of what's happening in the market. Now, the TBT stop loss hunting alert, this little red bar right here, is so simple yet so effective. And what I want you to know is that this is most likely the move. In my opinion, that's pretty much going to be it, but it's the weekend, so it's going to be low liquidity, low volume over the weekend. So we'll see how things continue to play out. The important thing to note as well is that even though a 4%, or actually it's just under 4% close on the daily is a little bit painful for Bitcoin, just remember where we are. We're also in price discovery mode, and seeing pullbacks as soon as we go up to price discovery mode is not abnormal. We also printed a TBT bearish divergence signal right here on the daily. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you know that when I see a bearish TBT divergence signal, I want to see this slow line pointing down. This will make this signal right here, or this symbol, much more believable, and I'll take it much more seriously. But if the slow line is angling, I can't draw so well with this cursor. If the slow line is angling up or it's flat, it's not as believable, especially if the slow line is really angling up, which it's not yet, but it will be soon. So this is actually one of those buy the dip moments like I've been preparing you guys for. I've also been reminding you over and over to consider taking some profit out when you're in the green to protect profit. And what's great about this TBT stop loss hunting alert signal is that, or rather it's an alert, is that if you have an open position, just protect profit a little bit. There's nothing wrong with protecting a little bit of your positions in profit and to exercise caution when you're opening up a leveraged position. Now, speaking of leveraged positions, my open long here on BTC on Altrady is still open. Yes, it was at 6% profit. Yes, it has retraced. I don't really care. I'm just going to let this thing run and do its thing. It's doing a fine job. Now, you might remember that yesterday I shared that the bot opened up a position on MNT, Mantle. Now, this one actually had a stop loss set for 4%, but the bot actually closed it at negative 1.55%. Yes, it's in a loss, but negative 1.55% versus 4%, like that's amazing. That's actually a much better outcome, to be honest. But what I really should have done is once this opened and then I got the alert, I really should have just closed the position or at least put a stop loss at break even. And that's typically what I do when these alerts start to fire, just so you know. So let's go ahead and go back over to TradingView. I have some other charts that I want to share with you today. So yes, we have a TBT bearish divergence signal on the daily time frame, just like we saw back over here and here and here in December, but this is after a massive increase. So you might be thinking, wait, are we done? Have we topped out? Nope, I don't think so, not at all. Because if we go back over here to this market in October 2023 with our TBO breakout cluster, we can see right away, boom, 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 all of these TBT bearish divergence signals are firing. Yet, when we look at the slow line is just moving higher and higher and higher. Now, eventually there's going to be volatility. There will be pullbacks. Price is going to be falling. And, it's just volatility. It's normal for crypto. But when we zoom out and we see what's the direction of the slow line, is it moving up? That will give me confidence to go, okay, don't worry about it too much yet. It's a great signal and a reminder that once the price goes up higher, we'll probably see some profit taking again at 111,000. But I don't believe that we're done now and that's it. Now, looking at stablecoin dominance, we see the inverse signal. We see a TBT bullish divergence signal here on stablecoin dominance, while the slow line is kind of moving up, kind of sort of. I can't really draw so well with this cursor on my Mac. This is a little bit harder to do. But anyway, this is something I've honestly been waiting for a little bit, just a huge push up to the TBO fast line. We kind of got one of these teases last week, or sorry, earlier this week on Monday. And again, similar story. Yes, we've seen these at the Pico bottom after a major fall, but we didn't see our TBO breakdowns yet on the daily. I really don't think that we're done here. I think that this is just a buy the dip moment. Again, zooming back over here, we've seen these appear as the price is going lower and lower and lower, which is why you have to pay attention to the TBO slow line. So right now the slow line is actually pointing up. So this bearish divergence signal is pretty valid here where we could see stablecoin dominance increase. I don't know how high, but right now it's staying below the daily TBO cloud, which means that it's still strong bearish, even with a 4.49% increase on the day. The total crypto market cap, even though it had two beautiful TBO breakouts in a row, got smacked in the face with a TBT bearish divergence signal. The slow line here on the TBO is relatively flat. So this is kind of believable. But again, I still feel like this is just a shock to the market and that this is pretty much a buy the dip opportunity across the board. And everything before the daily candle just closed everything was red. And now everything is turning to go green again because there's people buying the dip, which that's basically what happens. And it's a gift, to be honest, whenever the market has a new day or daily candle opening. I love that. Now, the others market cap also fell down a lot, 6% yesterday, but because I'm looking at this going, I just think this is short-term volatility. I don't think this is going to be a continued move where we're going to see everything retrace all the way back down. I feel like the momentum has already started. So yes, others has another TBT bearish divergence signal, just like Ethereum does as well. But it's also holding the 618. So Ethereum is actually looking decent to me. Plus volume is still looking great, even though it's quote unquote bearish volume, because this is technically a bearish engulfing candle right here because the close is lower than the previous day's open. But, I really don't think it's going to be that much of a big deal. I think over the weekend, the prices of everything is going to retrace back up. And we'll probably head back up to where we were. Now, looking over here at a couple of these other charts, just to be aware, Solana is looking really good. Actually, because of the volatility, days like this, we see increased volatility, almost 2 times the trading volume here on the daily close for Solana, which is good. Now, it stinks because Solana was moving up pretty well at 187. It did make a new high, a local high. And unfortunately, we got smacked back down because of this tariff nonsense yet again. But looking at the 4-hour, the slow line's moving up. Looking at the cloud, the price is above the cloud on the daily. Looking at the weekly, we're seeing it, the TBO cloud here being compressed. And I do think that we're going to see Solana and Ethereum, the weekly charts look really, really, really good really soon. Maybe not by the end of this week like I was hoping because of this little smack, but even Ethereum weekly volume is actually exceeding the moving average. Look at this moving up. It's really good. So I'm watching Solana as well going, I'm I'm just treating everything right now as buy the dip. Everything is buy the dip. I'm not panicking at all. These are all opportunities. Now, another interesting opportunity is WIF. Even though it printed a TBT bearish divergence signal right here, the bigger deal is that WIF finally pierced long-term overhead resistance, which is massive. This is such a big deal because this has been such a long time coming. This line has been in place since December 7th. It has been how many months? Almost 6 months until we finally seen the price pierce it. This is a great sign for WIF. Plus, look at volume growing. Look at all balance volume looking amazing. This is still a really good looking chart. So I am looking at this as buy the dip opportunity for sure. Now, I've been talking about a lot of stuff. I've been talking about TBT, stop loss hunting alert, talking about the TBO, TBT divergence. Where do you get all this stuff? Well, you get it through the Better Traders Club subscription. So if you go to thebettertraders.com, the link is in the description down below. You'll see links to check out our courses like 15 Minutes of Financial Freedom, which is a great entry level course, intermediate level course. Then our two advanced courses, Mastering Passive Income and The Smarter Trader. These are great. And of course, if you're just brand new to crypto, Mastering Assets, this is a new partnership we have in collaboration with Kitco Media. And my first course here, the Complete Cryptocurrency Investor course, is fantastic for new people in crypto. But if you want access to all those tools and everything I was talking about before, join the Better Traders Club. This is the best place to go to get the TBO, TBT diversions, TBT stop loss hunting alert, all this good stuff, tools, indicators, resources, lots of stuff. Okay, so join the club to get access to way more tools. So let's go back to TradingView and talk about the rest of these charts that are here. Because we're in a little bit of a sticky situation right now with BTC, I am treating everything as a buy the dip opportunity today. It may not feel like an opportunity when we see charts falling down, wick to wick, 7, 8, 9, 15, 20%. It just depends on the volatility of the chart. But knowing that most charts are kind of holding up really well, it's giving us an opportunity to buy the dip, especially when we have an existing TBO open long and the price retraces back to or into the daily TBO fast line, like XRP, like Aave. This one did not retrace yet, but this one is actually holding up beautifully. It's still above the cloud. Only a minor close yesterday. I still think that Aave is going to be pushing up higher. It does have a target here of 376 on the 786 Fibonacci level, and there's also TBO resistance at 390.15 right there. Jito, this is one that recently opened earlier this week on Monday. We can see that it retraced just a little bit. This is an opportunity to buy the dip on a chart like this that already has a confirmed open long, and the price is above the daily TBO fast line, which is a great sign. ENS, another chart that has a TBO open long, but this one opened back in the beginning of the month. So we can see several times where the price goes into the TBO fast line and actually bounces pretty well. So we could see another bounce for ENS as well. Curve 5, well, this one has not retraced yet. It did make a newer local high, but look at the pattern that happens over and over with this chart. It's pretty clear. So if we look at this, you can see it oscillating up, pump, and it drags down, pumps, drags down, pumps, drags down, pumps, drags down. So it's a really, really dependable chart for trading. Now, a couple of charts to also pay attention to. Hype put in its third TBO breakout on yesterday's close. Even though it was a red candle, even though this is pretty ugly, it did put in a local high, which is great. Put in a new high here at 37.59, which is fantastic. This chart is still very strong bullish. Look at volume. Volume was more than 2 times, more than 100% the average. So the average is at 20 million here, but it closed in at 52. So like 1.5 times or so, which is a great sign. Even though it's red, even though it's pulling back, this is, and again, like a buy the dip opportunity on the 4-hour. This is a great chart to use because we can wait for the price to come back into the fast line and take that as our entry. And Hype does not mess around. Pendle, you might remember this one. I was super excited about this. Believe me, I am still excited about Pendle. I'm freeing up capital personally to get some Pendle today because of this TBO breakout cluster. I'm really bullish on this, and I think that Pendle will do really well because of it. Now, of course, because the market's having a little bit of a pullback, I do want to remind you of a couple of things. SUI, we talked about this yesterday, saying that we have 2 really close TBO close longs, these blue dots right here, just like these ones. But see how far apart these are? When they're closer together, we get 2, 3, 4. I pay a lot of attention to these, and these actually preceded a drop of 9%. Now, I don't think SUI is over or cooked by any means because on a daily time frame, it's still in the process. I don't know, how do I say this? It still has an open long. So it's actually looking really good still to me. Even though it's retraced and it's only up about 3, 4%, I think it's a great buy the dip opportunity personally. And volume is also looking really good. Look at the moving averages moving up higher and higher and higher. Now, some more charts to pay attention to. Pepe printed a second TBT bearish divergence signal. Now, this would normally be like, it's not so good because we've seen 2 that are really close together, like back up here in December. we can actually go further back on the chart and we can see some of these also printing on the uptrend and when the price is like chopping like this. So it can feel a little bit nerve-wracking to see those, see them close together like this. But look at on balance volume. Look at the fact that the price remains above the daily TBO cloud, while the slow line is still kind of pointing down, indicating that the macro trend is kind of weak. All of the other lines, TBO fast, medium slow, they're all pointing up. So I'm looking at that as a sign of strength. Plus, volume looks amazing. It looks really, really, really good. So I'm, again, buy the dip. Yes, Tau printed a TBT bearish divergence signal yesterday after closing down almost 10%. But where did it fall down to? The fast line, just like back over here. And the last time it did this, it shot up 16, 17%. So just saying, this is the TBO springboard bounce. I've been sharing this video at the end of every single video on purpose. And this is exactly why this, days like today are so great for buying the dip with the TBO. Fartcoin, this one also printed a second TBT bearish divergence signal after going slightly higher, putting in a newer local high. Yes, it printed a TBO breakout on Thursday, confirming it yesterday, but it actually didn't fall that far. Considering the fact that this is a pretty notorious meme coin, it only closed down like 5%. Again, I think that the market is treating this as a buy the dip opportunity, and that's how I'm treating it for sure. Because even though it feels a little bit scary to have news about tariffs and some uncertainty happening in the future about, okay, what's going to happen, like it's going to be short-lived, in my opinion. We'll see what actually happens next week, but in my opinion, it should be short-lived. And again, a reminder, we have lots of great resources and tools and indicators available to you in the Better Traders Club subscription, including TBT, stop loss hunting, alerts, and way more. So hopefully I will see you in the club and hopefully you have an amazing weekend. So until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.